What's up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video back in Planet Coaster. And today we are starting our new park after completing our last one. So this one is going to be quite a bit different than what we did in the last one. And that's a good thing because I wouldn't want to create like a similar park. So this one is going to be kind of more of an amusement park rather than a theme park. And kind of like almost like a Cedar Point type feel, not exactly, but it's gonna have more of a amusement park feel rather than a theme park. So rather being heavily themed, it's gonna be more about rides and attractions and stuff like that, and maybe like a main street and stuff like that. It'd be kind of cool. Excuse me. So in this start here, we are creating the front gate, the entrance, something I didn't have in the last park, and I thought it'd look kind of cool and a kind of cool touch, or it'd be a kind of a cool touch for a park. So that's what we're pretty much going to be doing today, is making the entrance and part of the front part of pretty much the whole entrance of the park itself. So this park is going to have a lot of more buildings than the last one, and it's going to probably be a little bit more detailed on the buildings. I don't fully detail the buildings in this episode, but we get around to there. But actually, in the end, I think it turned out very nice the way I wanted it to. It turned out very, very good, I think. And I think this park will actually turn out better than my last park, which was Mystic Bay, which, by the way, a cinematic video hopefully will be coming soon when I get to that part. So here I was starting to try and experiment a little bit with kind of trying to get different textures on the roofs, but it didn't work out the way I planned it. I might come back to this and try different things, but I haven't figured out exactly how this works. Now, I've seen a couple people do it before. They kind of pre-make it and then they just copy and paste it, but the issue I have with that is that when I get to the building attachments, you can't duplicate those for some reason. You can't select more than one and duplicate it. So that's the issue that I was getting with that. So just trying this brick type of top, but I figured it'd take too long if I couldn't figure it out. So I'm going to try and figure that out later and maybe possibly make this a possibility for the future for this park, possibly. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep these roofs. I can't wait till hopefully Alpha 3 we will get some more roofs, because I'm tired of these same roofs over and over and over in my parks, and I would like to add a little bit more some different roofs, and I hope they have like a lot more textures in their roofs and stuff, and be able to recolor them, because it looks like we might be able to recolor walls and stuff in the next alpha, and at least that's what I'm hoping. So this entrance, anyways, I thought turned out pretty nicely. There's still some more detailing I need to do at the end of it, but overall it turned out very nicely. And what I'm trying to do in this park is detail as much as possible before I get too far into the park. That way it's a more complete as I go. And this is going to be a more symmetrical kind of park. And what I mean by that is you're not going to see you're going to see a lot more of straight pathways and stuff like that kind of, and it's going to kind of have a little more of an organized feel to it rather than just kind of sections everywhere and stuff like that. It's going to have be more kind of organized in a way and kind of look more neater in a way than the last park. So I wanted to make sure that this park differed from the last one, and that would have a completely different feel than what the last park would have. And the same company will own this one, and that's my goal, is to have kind of like every park I do is going to be by the same company, pretty much, if that makes sense. Just kind of a fun thing. JLW Entertainment is at it again with another park being built. After the success of the opening of the first one is pretty much what we're going to go at. So I had a lot of thought of what I was going to do with the next park. And this park is what came to mind, kind of a Cedar Point type feel. And again, it's by far not going to look like Cedar Point, but I haven't even been to Cedar Point. I'm actually heading to Cedar Point next month, so if I'm not finished by the park by then, which I probably won't be, I'm going to probably use that as some inspiration possibly after I do that. So I can't wait to go visit Cedar Point. It's going to be fun. So not necessarily going to have like as many roller coasters as Cedar Point, but hopefully we will. So maybe in the middle of this park while I'm building it, who knows, they might release Alpha 3, and you never know, and that's what I'm hoping at least. So I attempted to make kind of like a flower box, but it didn't work because I couldn't select the entire thing and move it. It just didn't work out. When you have building attachments, it acts like it's not a part of the building, kind of, which is kind of weird, I thought. So the building attachments aren't a part of the building, and that just kind of confused me a little bit, and it made no sense to me. So for right now, we're going to go without that until I figure it out, and maybe I can find a tutorial or something. I haven't seen any tutorials on how to do it yet, but that's about it. So it's unnoticeable, but there's actually a cut there. I actually had to run to the restroom, which is oddly enough. So I tried to figure out why these paths weren't symmetrical with the entrance itself. When I put it together, it wasn't straight, which was kind of weird. So I kind of pulled it back a little further there to make sure it wasn't noticeable. And then one thing I wanted to make sure on this park is that the buildings kind of have more character to them, that they're not just square and stuff like that, and they have more of a shape. And I thought it would be a cool idea here at the entrance to have some buildings off to the sides. I thought it would be cool to have some decent or some interesting shaped buildings that weren't, just square. And it actually worked out quite nicely in the end, which was actually really nice. And I actually built pathways to those doors just for fun and stuff. And I actually make a bathroom on the back part of this building here to just add to it, and hopefully guests will appreciate toilets. So, because you gotta have toilets, otherwise your guests will pee and poop on your roller coasters, and we don't want that. So, anyways, what I wanted to do here with the space between the path and the buildings, I made sure that they were not empty and have a lot of plants and foliage and just flowers to make it look nice and pretty, because that's the point of this park, is to make it look pretty. So I do end up changing those curbs there to match up with the other ones. It made a little bit more sense. And this park is just going to be, I hope this park is going to be a little bit more detailed than previous parks that I've had in the past. So, but I was trying to figure out how to get this path system working the way I wanted to. It was kind of getting a little wonky at times, but in the end I do end up getting something that I do like and stuff. So I'm using these skinnier paths, which I'm not famous for using skinnier paths, to create kind of these boxes in the middle to be able to add more plants and flowers and foliage and trees to just add a little bit of a cool touch to the park itself, to just have a charm and just make the park beautiful. And that's my mission with this park, is I wanted to make sure that it looks beautiful and that guests can appreciate it a lot. So, and anyways, I was like, well, why don't I just add a path to these doorways? I figured it'd make sense. Guests probably won't walk towards it anyway, since there's not actually interactive over there, so they won't actually end up walking through the wall, which is, I guess, is a good thing, right? So these trees are nice, and these plants are nice, and I tried to get a little bit in designing these flower beds just a little bit to make them give it a nice little cool look to it, and they turned out alright. So, the colors all pretty much go with each other, what they do have available right now. Hopefully in Alpha 3 we get some more plants and some more trees, that we can use, but what we have now works really well as well, so I'm not complaining too much. But one thing we definitely need is some more building tools, because these buildings are all looking the same, and that's a complaint that a lot of people have had. So hopefully they're going to add a lot more in Alpha 3, at least I'm hoping. And again, I do think we're going to have water in Alpha 3, which will also be a great thing to have as well, to be able to spice up our parks with some actual water and stuff that will, be able to cool our guests off. And one thing I can't wait as well is water rides whenever that releases, hopefully in the next couple of alpha phases and stuff. So, but this next building, I wanted to make sure it wasn't symmetrical with the other one completely, and I still wanted it to have a decent shape to it as well. So this building is just for show. It's not real, or there's nothing interactive going to be with it in the end. Well, I might add something there in the end, but we'll see how that goes. But I can't wait until this park is completed. I don't know how many episodes this one will take, but this one will probably overall be maybe a bit larger than the last park, because it's going to be more of a Cedar Point type feel, so it might be a little bit bigger in the end, pathway wise and attraction wise. There might be some more attractions, maybe even more roller coasters. I'm not sure at this point how many coasters I'm going to have, but the only thing I really had planned going into this episode was the entrance, and I want to plan each part out before I make it in each episode, so I know what I'm going to be building in each episode rather than winging it like I have been in the past. So it will give me a little bit more of an advantage creating this park, because I have a little bit ahead in mind of what's going to be next. Like, I already pretty much know what I'm going to do in episode 2, and when we get there, we'll get there. But you probably won't be seeing rides for a couple of episodes, because I just want to get this main entrance stuff done. We'll get the entrance, and by the way, this is going to be called, at the moment, it's going to be called Midway, the Midway Park, something like that. I thought it would be kind of cool, because I thought it would fit kind of well with what it is going to be. I mean, it could change at the end, but for right now, Midway Park it just has a good feel to it, in my opinion. But anyways, Mystic Bay is also owned by this company as well. So the same ones that made Mystic Bay will also own this one, obviously. JLW Entertainment is working at a new park here, and I would love to be kind of cool to have some actual locations, like say Mystic Bay would be in California or something like that. I don't know. I probably won't get that far, but I think that would be kind of a neat little touch as well. So at the end here, I definitely wanted to have like a centerpiece, and I wanted to round this pathway around the kind of fountain, but I couldn't really get it the way I wanted it to, so I ended up just going with the square instead, because it fit a little bit more, and I could put more foliage around it in the long run anyways, so it would look decent anyways. So yeah, I thought it would work out, and it actually did. So I can't wait till we get water in the game. It would make fountains a lot more easier and funner and stuff like that. So, but for right now, all we have is the VFX water jets, and that's what I do end up using here for the fountain itself. And I really liked how this fountain turned out. Actually, it's a really nice centerpiece for the entrance of the park, I think, and I think people will appreciate it. At least the guests hopefully will admire it, and that's the hopes anyways. So not much, and it's very simple. There's not much to it, just have the mermaid up there along with the treasure chests and the water jets. It looks kind of cool and kind of neat, and worked out. I wanted to almost put some more water jets, but I thought it actually turned out well the way it was. So that's about it for that part. And then I created a little bit or another grassy area here, so you gotta detail it, and that's my goal, is to detail as soon as I build or make stuff like that. So that's about it for this first episode. The entrance plaza is pretty much done, or entrance anyways. It's not really much of it. Could be a plaza. But anyways, next episode we're going to be getting into a restaurant and stuff like that, which will be kind of cool. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me guys know what you think of this new idea of this park, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and an even cooler tomorrow. Goodbye.